On the afternoon of September 17th, the skies above Guangzhou, China's bustling southern metropolis, shifted from a calm gray to an ominous, rolling black. What began as a relatively normal, humid day quickly transformed into a scene of chaos and alarm as central and southern districts of the city were suddenly battered by a fierce convective weather system. This unexpected shift unleashed violent thunderstorms, torrential rain, and gale-force winds that swept through one of the country's most densely populated urban centers. According to the Guangzhou Meteorological Observatory, the brunt of the storm was concentrated in Haizhou district, where the city's highest cumulative rainfall was recorded, an impressive 63 millimeters in just a short span of time. To put that into perspective, it was the heaviest localized downpour observed in Guangzhou's central urban region during the event. The data also revealed the extraordinary strength of the winds. In Panyu District's Hualong town, gusts reached 35 meters per second, equivalent to nearly 126 kilometers per hour. For comparison, this is similar to the wind force of a strong tropical storm. Meanwhile, Zhengcheng, Huangpu, and other parts of Panyu reported winds of force 11 to 12 on the Beaufort scale, placing the event firmly in the category of destructive storm winds. While numbers and measurements capture the scientific side of the storm, the human impact was felt most vividly at around 5 p.m. that day, when a frightening scene unfolded at the North Plaza of Tianhe City Shopping Center. For locals, Tianhe City is more than just a mall. It is a landmark, a commercial hub, and a gathering place. On that particular afternoon, an outdoor promotional event was underway in the square. Booths had been set up, decorative installations stood proudly, and a sizable crowd had gathered to browse products and enjoy the atmosphere. Then, almost without warning, the weather turned hostile. Dark clouds thickened overhead, thunder rumbled like rolling drums, and a sudden gust of gale-force wind surged into the plaza. The transformation was instantaneous and terrifying. Within moments, large tents and temporary booths were torn from their moorings. Lightweight items, flyers, banners, and small equipment were sent spinning into the air. Even heavy display boards and signboards, some weighing dozens of kilograms, were picked up like toys and flung across the square. Witnesses later described the sound of snapping poles and tearing canvas as deafening, drowned only by the howling wind. Panic rippled through the crowd as people scrambled for safety. Parents clutched their children tightly. Stall owners tried desperately to hold down their wares, and security staff shouted instructions over the roaring storm. Videos captured by bystanders quickly spread across social media platforms such as Weibo and Douyin, showing dramatic footage of structures collapsing and objects flying dangerously close to pedestrians. And yet, in what many described as a miracle, no casualties were reported. Despite the suddenness and ferocity of the gale, everyone managed to escape without serious harm. This was thanks in part to the quick thinking of on-site staff who acted immediately to cordon off dangerous areas, guide people indoors, and remove collapsed equipment. Emergency response teams soon arrived, reinforcing safety measures and clearing debris to prevent further accidents. Their swift action ensured that a chaotic and potentially tragic event ended with relief rather than mourning. Meteorologists later weighed in to explain the science behind the terrifying weather. The thunderstorms and gale-force winds, they said, had developed along the southern boundary of the subtropical high-pressure system that had dominated Guangzhou's skies for days. The city had endured prolonged, suffocating heat in the lead-up to September 17th, and this extreme heat had caused the atmosphere to store a tremendous amount of unstable energy. When a small triggering system appeared, Barely noticeable under normal conditions, it set off a chain reaction. That pent-up energy was suddenly and violently released, manifesting as concentrated convective weather, fierce thunderstorms, intense downpours, and damaging winds. A key culprit, experts added, was likely a meteorological phenomenon known as a downburst. Downbursts occur when cooled air in a thunderstorm descends rapidly toward the ground, spreading outward once it hits the surface. The effect is similar to a giant invisible hammer smashing downward and then radiating violent winds in every direction. Wind speeds in downbursts can rival or even exceed those of tornadoes, though they lack the tornado's spinning funnel. Because they spread damage in a fan-like pattern rather than a narrow path, downbursts often catch large areas off guard, as was the case in Guangzhou that day. Looking ahead, meteorologists warned that Guangzhou's weather would remain precarious. A typhoon was developing in the western Pacific, and although the city was not in the storm's direct path, it would still feel its influence. The outer circulation of the typhoon was expected to affect Guangzhou, introducing subsiding airflows that might stabilize conditions temporarily, but experts cautioned that such stability was fragile and subject to rapid change. Authorities quickly issued reminders for the public. Severe convective weather is notoriously unpredictable, and citizens were urged to take precautions. People were advised to avoid outdoor activities in open plazas, construction sites, or temporary tents during storm alerts. Organizers of events, particularly those involving outdoor booths or displays, were instructed to secure canopies, signage, and decorations properly, and to prepare contingency plans for evacuation. The Guangzhou Emergency Management Bureau stressed that vigilance and preparedness could mean the difference between inconvenience and disaster. This incident also highlighted a broader concern: Guangzhou's growing vulnerability to extreme weather in the era of climate change. The city, located in the subtropical Pearl River Delta, has long been known for its humid summers and monsoon rains. But in recent years, residents have noticed a pattern of increasingly violent storms, heavier rainfall, and more frequent episodes of localized flooding. In fact, extreme weather events have almost become an annual reality for Guangzhou, from destructive typhoons to sudden rainstorms that can inundate entire neighborhoods within hours. Experts attribute this shift to both natural climatic cycles and human-induced climate change. Rising global temperatures are intensifying the water cycle, leading to heavier rainfalls and more energetic storms. Meanwhile, rapid urban expansion in Guangzhou has created sprawling districts filled with high-rises, paved roads, and dense populations. These conditions amplify the risks. When storms strike, water drains poorly, winds funnel between skyscrapers, and crowded public spaces become flashpoints of danger. The September 17th incident at Tianhe City was a microcosm of these larger issues. It revealed how quickly normal urban life, shopping, commuting, attending events, can be disrupted by extreme weather. It also underscored the importance of public awareness. Meteorological agencies continue to emphasize that weather alerts should not be ignored. Warnings about thunderstorms, strong winds, or heavy rains are not just routine announcements. They are urgent advisories meant to protect lives. Beyond immediate responses, city planners and policymakers are grappling with long-term solutions. How can Guangzhou, a city of over 18 million people, adapt to increasingly volatile weather? Suggestions include reinforcing building codes to withstand higher wind loads, redesigning drainage systems to handle heavier rainfall, and creating more green spaces to absorb excess water and reduce urban heat. Equally important, is public education, ensuring that residents know how to respond calmly and effectively when nature's fury strikes. In retrospect, the September 17th storm was both a wake-up call and a near miss. It disrupted an ordinary afternoon, frightened thousands, and damaged property, but it spared lives. The absence of casualties should not lead to complacency. Instead, it should serve as a reminder of the thin line between safety and disaster in an age of unpredictable weather extremes. Guangzhou's story is not unique. Cities across the world, from Houston to Manila, are facing similar challenges as climate systems grow more volatile. But for the people who stood in the Tianhe Plaza that evening, watching tents collapse and boards fly, the experience was deeply personal. It was a reminder of human vulnerability before the forces of nature, but also of resilience, how quick action, communal responsibility, and sheer luck combined to turn a potential tragedy into a narrow escape. As Guangzhou moves forward, its residents carry with them not just the memory of a stormy September afternoon, but also a heightened awareness. Weather is no longer something distant or predictable. It is a force that can alter lives in an instant, demanding respect, preparation, and collective action. The skies above the city may have cleared, but the lessons of that day remain etched in the minds of those who lived through it. Thanks for watching. If you found this story interesting, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our next video.